developing a group identity is a very strong glue for society, and lehefich, it can also be used as a uh, very strong weapon. What do I mean? When we have Am Yisrael united, all Am Yisrael are together in this, and there's another, as opposed to Am Segula, as opposed to Mikol Ha'amim, Tavach Hartona Mikol Ha'amim. So now we have a unique role, and we look at each other as comrades and as brothers, right? Am Yisrael is united in this, and we're all part of a group. So you guys sometimes have it that people create groups, fraternities, a yeshiva, a sports team, something that unites people, the way of dress and the way of talking and getting together at set times, right? This is what unites, especially men, by the way. And the hefich, here's the weapon. Let's say there's someone who doesn't do like everybody else. And just by the way, something that's usually chitzonius, it's usually something outward. He doesn't wear the colors or the hat, or he doesn't attend the regularly scheduled gathering the same way. He does something different. So what? The belt buckle, yeah. So that's a big problem. Sometimes this type of I guess this human tendency, once again, everything we see with Am Yisrael is also true with human psychology. Okay, Moshe Rabbeinu is teaching us to be united around the right things, but also watch out. There are some people who can exploit, sometimes for sinister purposes, slight differences, and then use it to create an enemy. Like, that person's the other. He's different. He should be punished, ostracized. You know what? Anything from just don't talk to the guy to, kill him, lynch him. And Am Yisrael has fallen into that trap sometimes, and humanity has fallen into that trap. We have to watch out. You can never go along with this, which is why, by the way, Chazal said one of the most potent of these elixirs for pressing people into something, just short of, let's say, killing someone, is what? If you want to, let's say, we can't kill you, so what are we going to do to you? How do we keep people in line? What does it say in Shulchan Aruch, by the way? It's a broad place. It's called the Cherem. Nidui and Cherem. Niduis and Cherems. Think about Rabbi, who was it? I keep forgetting. Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus. Who was it? He was put in Cherem by none other than his brother-in-law, Rabbi Gamliel II, right? He didn't actually do it himself. It was the Beis Din did it. It wasn't strictly Rabbi Gamliel's fault. He just happened to be the one in charge at the time, right? So what happened? We went through the story of Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus a few months ago. That is a potent weapon, and Chazal reserved that only for the most severe of cases. Why? Because he was basically arguing about the whole methodology of the Torah. Lo b'shamayim. That for them, that was not just halacha, that was theology. That was a whole hashkafa difference, right? So they're trying to show them you can't try to override, let's say, nature itself in order to get the halacha to be the way you want it to be. You still have to follow, let's say, the majority rule in deciding halacha through what we said, a deliberate body, is a halachic principle that we have to abide by all the time. Fine. So that was his decision. But you can understand how hard it felt to be Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus being put in Cherem. You understand? That's why we have to be very kind to each other. Am Yisrael needs to work together. If we start ostracizing each other, saying, you know what, I can't talk to that guy. That guy is, like you just said, Baal Dikduk. Oh, you give we can't talk to him. That's it. You know what? No, we can't hear this. That's a really big problem. It's a big problem. Why am I saying this now? Because today we began the tour. We've had, this is the second place we're talking about Haggadah Pesach, because we always talk about it. Get your copy. And I went to some place also for the first time today, and it was very good to speak to people who weren't really thinking about what we have to do. And the problem is new ideas, which are actually just the same old ideas. You'd think that Korban Pesach, which is, last time I checked, it was technically the second explicit mitzvah, and the third mitzvah, according to Chazal, given to our ancestors in Egypt. The first one was Kiddush HaChodesh, that's explicit. And then Chazal add, they're also told to do Milah, because later it says, and if you want to participate in Korban Pesach, you got to get Milah if you don't have it already. Because it says at the end of Parshas Bo, Zos Torah Chukasa Pesach, Kol Rel Yolchabo, and they say they had to do that already before the Yitzias Mitzrayim. That was what they had to do to get ready for Korban Pesach. So it must have been given before. Also, Etzem Lo Sish Beruba. Why? How do I know that? Because you need to do Milah a few days beforehand if you want to be able to do this. They're not going to, at least 3 days before. So Milah was given to us even before that, and then it's Korban Pesach. Korban Pesach is the third mitzvah. So you have to. That's the basis for everything. We have to get used to this. So I think we'll remind everybody, please, we don't use this. We do not wish to make anybody feel michutz la'am Yisrael, because why? It's very dangerous. It's just sort of killing someone. Ostracizing another Jew is just sort of killing someone. Remember, what do we do to Zakei Mamre? What did Chazal say to do to Zakei Mamre? Someone who rules against the Sanhedrin, a Zaken who rules against the Sanhedrin, Lamaisa, they put him to death. That's terrible. Teaches you one. Yes, there is room for machlokes, but sometimes there isn't room once something's been decided by the Sanhedrin. And the Sanhedrin used nidui and cherem when it couldn't use basically death. That's yes, and that's why it used to be if someone died in cherem, they'd put stones on his aron. Why? To show that they were being technically it's keilu skila, right? So it's a form. Yeah. So that's a very bad thing, and I think it's unfortunate. I wasn't there at the whole issue with Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus. Perhaps I would have told, perhaps I would have said something differently. I don't know. I wasn't asked. My only point is we understand how severe this tool is, and I guess the gravity of the issue involved. But also teaches us, don't do like they did to your friends. I'm sure whatever disagreements we have in Am Yisrael nowadays are certainly a lot less than whatever is deserving of death penalty for Zakei Mamre. We save things like ostracism only for the worst people. Okay.
We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. If you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.